Welcome back. Thank you, my Capricorn friends. Thank you for showing up. So what I've got for you, this week's reading, we're actually, even over at my Vimeo channel, we're doing some special stuff for you this week. We're taking a break from the weekly readings, and this week's weekly reading is actually going to be your monthly financial forecast. This is a look at money, career, finance for the month of October over at YouTube. Now, if you're watching over at Vimeo, we're going to be refocusing on a reading that I did much earlier in the year. We're just kind of freshening it up again. This one is called You and Me Side by Side. It's a look at you, your partner, a potential partner, and where you stand right now with one another. Now, we're going into this reading, though, with a James Van Praagh Soul's Journey Lesson card. And Capricorn, month of October. You've drawn a card that talks about guilt. It says, I release any beliefs that no longer assist in my soul's growth. And we all know that with guilt, you know, guilt is a terrible waste of energy. It doesn't do anybody any good, and it stunts your soul's growth. If you didn't know that already, you know, guilt, I've always said, I don't do guilt anymore. I just try not to do it because it doesn't help. It just doesn't help any situation, no matter how bad it gets. So, keeping that energy in mind, let's kind of go into our financial forecast, free of burden, lift all heaviness off of ourselves as we welcome in the month of October. The month of October can be a very powerful time with finances. It's traditionally the time of the year for harvest, for well-being, for growth. We're welcoming in a cold, long winter for some of us, and now we're really focusing in on what we're building. I'm not sure where guilt comes from in your particular situation, but we're going to keep it in mind. Now, what I want is 6 cards down. And I want to go in here. Okay, so I think for some of you, there are some very serious decisions that need to be made. Maybe clearing up of one's thinking. At the focus, we've got the King of Swords. You may also be dealing this month with an air sign, possibly male. He's usually the authority figure, the one whose words can often cut both ways. He's decisive. He can usually see what's coming before it even happens. He can often take on way too much, but he clearly understands what that energy brings to him. The man's got clarity anyway. Now we need 6 cards. The 4 of Swords and the Fool. The 8 of Cups. The 9 of Swords. A lot of Swords energy here, guys. The 7 of Swords. And Judgment. Well, a lot of communication, a lot of energy going out this month when it comes to communication, clarity. The 4 of Swords is sort of that nurturing energy, saying, first of all, going into October, let's take a step back and refresh ourselves, refresh our soul. It's the retreat card. It says, before the month of October really begins, let's take some time to take care and nurture ourselves. It's going to be important, I think, with looking how October is going to develop with all of this kind of thought process and communication process going on in October for you. Plus the fact there's an unknown something coming at you. It says, I'm a zero. I start at nothing. I am something so fresh and new. You won't even recognize me when I show up in your life. I'm going to present myself as something brand new in your life. It's part of your journey, whatever you're going through here. Now, the Four of Swords, as you take a retreat, it's time to really take a new look at your life. A new look at what it is you're developing here. The Eight of Cups is always leaving something behind to walk towards something better. It can be abandonment, so maybe you're abandoning something around your finances, around work, around you, maybe even your relationships that really, frankly, has not worked. There's a bit of frustration with the Eight of Cups. Maybe you're going through a period of guilt in your life, within your life, but this feels like it would be a relationship thing. And why it's here affecting your finances, your security, I don't know, but personal situations can always be a player in the way we make our living, in the day-to-day walk. We all deal with personal shit in the day-to-day, and this is a sign that maybe during the month of October, you're going to be dealing with something on a personal level. Now, with the Nine of Swords, we know we're gonna go through a period of frustration here. It even comes through towards the middle and the end of October. It feels like all of October, or most of October, may be very much a frustrating time. Feels to me maybe you are in the process of waiting for something to happen. You're walking towards something, you're moving towards something that is brand new. You're willing it in. You're wanting this new thing to come through for you professionally. But where is this road ending right now in October? Frustration? Very possibly. The fact that maybe not only you, but others are also waiting for things to develop. Because the Seven of Swords is a competitive kind of me first energy. It comes down as kind of conflicting. And next to the Nine of Swords, it may be putting you in a thought process where you're very much at a heightened level of frustration, waiting for something to what I think is release itself. Now, the Judgment to me is the opening door. When I look at this, I say you're looking at the situation and you're ready to move. Now, these cards are very comical, yeah, there's a real air of humor to these. The Judgment card here is a standing rib roast, deciding whether or not it needs to go on a diet. So, yeah, this is that make it or break it situation. Whatever it is that you're looking at that needs to change, that's been futile, that's been frustrating, and maybe the period of waiting has been a little bit agonized. Now whatever this Eight of Cups thing is, where you're looking to move towards gratification, to move towards something that takes you into a whole new realm of life, a whole new way of living. October may be a frustrating thing, but I do think towards the end of October is when you're going to see that door opening. It's where you're going to see that possibility really showing through for you. This is saying that door will be open and that change is coming. Judgment, it talks about all kinds of changes, but it can change you spiritually. The guilt card is a card of spirituality and how guilt can change your soul's growth. Well, if you're carrying any guilt in your personal situation, if you have been dealt a lot of guilt in your life, if people play you with guilt, and it may have been part of your journey through life, dealing with guilt, a mother's guilt, a child's guilt, a spouse's guilt. There's a lot of guilt to be passed around out there. If that's playing a part in your spiritual development, those things are getting an opportunity to change. But whatever the change is that you're really inviting in, Capricorn, the frustration, the cycle of kind of agonizing and anticipating. The Nine of Swords isn't just anticipating, it's anticipating disaster. So you have to get out of that kind of frame of thinking, because the Judgment card is opening a new door for some of you come the end of October. Now I'm going to take some of these gold playing cards and look at clarification for the first part of October. Early and mid is the way that plays out. Alrighty, here we go. So let's first take a look at early October for Capricorn. We've got the Four of Swords. It says you're taking care of yourself. Maybe you need to. Maybe you've been going through a very, very difficult process. Now, this thought process prior to that would be maybe negative self-thought. Maybe trapping yourself in a place where you really don't want to be. Maybe where you're seeking the clarity of the King of Swords. And that is being bridged with the Fool. A new opportunity that you're anticipating. You see it in the future. You know it's there. You know it's on the horizon and you're ready. You want to take action and you're gearing yourself up for it. Part of that journey is leaving something behind, and we're going to get to that next. First, let's take a look at the Fool and at the Four of Swords. And here we go. The new beginning. The Ace of Wands. It may be creative, but you're pouring your heart and soul into this. And you're really willing something to take off. You're prepared to leave behind whatever needs to be left behind. A lot of that leaving behind here are the things that go with guilt. It's the stuff that goes with negative internal dialogue. Those are the things you're really leaving behind with the with the Eight of Cups. Now, the Queen of Swords, damn it, she takes on the world, and she cuts right through the BS. I think that's why they call her Queen Bitch, because she doesn't care who's in her way. She's going to find success no matter what is guiding her. She's realizing her own ability to propel her life. She's very much in a discovery mode right now. Oh, well, I'm going to show you this one. because it's really important, because it's already here. It's repeat energy. That's just really kind of reconfirming it's time to pamper yourself now. Take a time to get in contact, do your nails, take a soak, take a walk in the tub, connect with spirit, be good with your oneness. It's a time for it. And that time is either right before October begins or at the very beginning of October. So make plans to do that within the next few days. Now we have the Two of Pentacles. What it is, I think that the Fool brings. The Fool's new beginning is something that puts you in a mode of success, physical success. But the Two of Pentacles says that life is going to have a nice even flow. Money will come and go. It's going to flow in, it's going to flow out. But there isn't much stagnation in the flow. It feels fluid and nice. Now we want to take a look at the Eight of Cups. So what does the Eight of Cups do? Now we already know the Eight of Cups is leaving behind crap that doesn't work anymore and embracing the shit that does, frankly. And the Nine of Swords, and pardon my French, Michael's on a rant today. The Nine of Swords is the frustration. It's the loss of sleep. It's not dealing with the situation well at that time, mid-October. The slowdown and the wait for the door to open again may be a lot to bear, and you may be getting incredibly frustrated with the way that things are going at this time. I need 3. Right, 1. Six of Swords. We've got positive movement forward. 4 of Pentacles. Be mindful. Be mindful of your finances, your security, your money, your codes, your passwords, all of that stuff. Be very mindful of anything financial during this mid-October period, because I think that those things are just going to be really important. Be mindful maybe of how you're spending your money. The Nine of Hearts. Now, that's the Nine of Cups. It says that what you're dealing with here may actually be someone who has some greed focused on your success. It may be an outside influence. And that's where I think it might be competition coming in here towards the end of the month. You know, your competition may very well be showing their hand about the end of October. I think if not just you, but others within your business are really going to be eyeballing the competition and getting a good, strong indication of what the competition is doing that is deceitful. And yes, some of you may spend a good amount of time in frustration waiting for competition to be dealt with. Wait for them to take their lumps, because they will. Karma is a bitch, and I'm here to tell competition in anyone's business that if you're doing it dishonestly, that karma is going to jump up and bite you flat on the ass. Period. Judgment is saying you are in that process of completely being judged, completely paying the price for whatever deceitful practices you are taking part in. Now, I'm going to say, with all of this Swords energy, the competition may be online. You may be verbally sparring with competition. You may be frustrated and losing sleep over the competition's bad practices. I think some of you are dealing with competition that is ruthless, underhanded, and frankly, and I'm going to talk about my own business for just 1 second. There's a whole new group of y'all coming out here. You know who you are. I'm having my frustration with you. You can see it now. Go ahead, take a look. This is what the frustration of another reader looks like. And what I'm here to tell you is that your days of deceit, your days of dishonest numbers, your days of buying your way through an honest community that does things organically, your days are numbered. The judgment is coming for my competition as well. Thank you. Now, we're getting back to it, because this is really a very strong message that you're going to fight the good fight, that you're putting up a good fight now, and you're not letting that energy in to take over. The Five of Wands. Yeah, you're going to have to defend yourself every day of this journey. Until the competition has been defeated, you're going to have to keep fighting this fight. The Six of Pentacles. You know, the balance is all going to come back at some point. But right now, you're fighting a vicious fight against, some of you, a competition that you cannot see. One that is electronic. One that can put a false face on their business. They can sell the public a bill of goods, and they're getting away with it. And until they're all slowly proven to be hacks, well, then I guess you're just going to have to deal with the competition, because karma, when vicious competition, when dishonest competition, untrustworthy, when they show their true hand, that door to judgment is going to open on them too. This is a very certain message. If you're dealing with a competitor that's using dirty, dishonest practices, whether you're in a tech business or whether you own a grocery store, your competition may be doing underhanded and shiftless things to promote themselves and to downplay the honest participants in your craft. Just know that day of judgment is coming for them. That's what I've got for you. Now I'm going to go take a look at the reboot of our reading from earlier this year called You and Me Together. And we're going to go do that now over at my Vimeo channel. So, Capricorn, until the next time, until next month with your financial reading, take care. Be well. Fight the power, guys. Something is going on here. The competition is being dealt with, but they're being dealt with through the spirit channel, and that is exactly where I want it to be. So let's go take a look at love, and until next time, again, thank you, Capricorn. Be well through this period. I think you're going to do just fine. Peace.